Alex, we're all watching Too Hot to Handle, right? Not gonna lie, I had to look that up. Might have to check that out later. Orca, what's up? What's up? How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing? For those of you that are new, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you new followers. Gulf Coast, Alex, 0411. If you got any races coming up, feel free to send them in chat. If we can, if we're not in the middle of a deep dive, I'll try and throw it up for you so we can all watch it. Lucky you and me both. Wish I could race more as well. We have a lot of fun things to talk about tonight. Really deep dive into data. We're going to talk a little bit about racing quickly in the front. Talk a little bit about breeding. Good evening, Zed Chateau. How you doing? Gutters, what up? Silver and 18. Okay, okay. Wappy. Oh man, we got a full house tonight. Full house. We got everyone. Strictly financial advice tonight, Dolls. If you notice the new banner in the top right, never financial advice. Just a full disclaimer. Sign Media, how you doing? Time for some knowledge. Exactly, Mr. Marr. I want to watch my race in 7 hours. I'm thinking we should do one of these streams, just like a 24-hour, just non-stop race event. Gabgons, what's up? Clispin, how you doing? Zed Guru, hey, hey. Strictly racing advice, exactly, Gabgons. I'm at work but have one ear on. Thank you, Jerry Monkhouse. Appreciate the dedication. Jackpots, what's up? Wappy, nice. Congrats on that. Congrats on that. But yeah, I think it'd be fun just to do like a giant marathon. People coming and going, throwing in just their chat or their race URLs. I'll throw it into like just one giant window, and people just come and go, and we'll be watching watching races all day, all day. Um, So I guess we got a pretty full house. We'll jump right in. The first thing, first of all, happy Monday, everyone. You made it through Monday. Congratulations. So the first topic of tonight that we're going to be talking about is racing. And speaking of racing, we got Prototype in the chat saying the chart that I'm working on has already helped me win a race, even though it's not complete. I love that. I love when any of my followers start using data to try and make better decisions. Regardless of how big or small of an edge. So talk, I guess, a little bit about buying a horse, but also about racing and like trying to find the ideal race for your horse. And we've talked about this a lot on stream, but want to try and take it to another level. Um, and so kind of to use as, what's up, Siberia? To use as a example, we're going to use my horse Blue Wings, which I recently purchased. It's a Z10 Legendary Finny. I bought it because of the low Z number. It has some Zabo and Finny blood, and not bad. I mean, 20 over 1. That's nothing super crazy, but with only one race there, but it looks like 5 races. But 5.32 over there, I'm not bad with that. Got it for 0.2, so pretty happy with it. But in talking about like the importance of race selection and how it can really do a lot for a horse, and I know I don't have a huge sample size here, but when I bought this horse, it had 8 races, and we'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. All right, let's see how that. So 8 races, 0 wins, 0 place, and 1 show. ROI of negative 89. And so I liked what I saw here in this horse, but specifically, as far as opportunity, I saw some kind of something advantageous when it came to like racing this horse. So I noticed it had some pretty solid odds, 9s, 10s, in paid, 7s, all in class 5, which I was totally fine with. Griffey 792 at 1600, but everything else was paid. But I noticed here is that with these positions, it was still getting good odds even at higher entry fees. And something, I guess that's a cheap one, but I saw an opportunity to race this horse at a cheaper entry fee to try and improve its performance. Coach Steve, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Wappy says the odds are the only thing I like about this. Prototype, I played .2 for Blue Wings. Galaxy says it's blown up. It's about time. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Scott, going into what made me buy it now. Um, so I looked at some of the speeds too. Like I did like a full pre-analysis, and I saw some potential in speeds with this horse as well. Um, but I saw more of a potential in that it was if I could dial back in or dial down its entry fees, I could probably get better odds because a horse that performs well and you know it's going to perform well, you're going to push it up to higher entry fees to try and make more money because you know it can perform there. Therefore, kind of the theory goes it's a more difficult race. So I saw some potential in kind of reducing that entry fee to improve performance. So this was before I got it, again at point 0.2. And then if we go to after I got it, we are now at 9 races, so it's about the same. And it's an extremely small sample size, so please keep that in mind. And by the way, sorry, I totally missed that Clispin. I appreciate the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carter says breeding is 98% random. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Extremely small sample size. I'm not saying this is, oh my gosh, this is going to change the world and everyone do this and you're going to have these same results. Not necessarily. This is just my case, and it speaks to the overarching kind of strategy that I'm looking at. So 9 races, so basically doubled its races, but now we have 2 wins. We've got 1 extra place, no shows. And if we look now, we're getting some a little higher odds, but the performance is much better. And if you look, we've got one free in there, which is another 1600, which I saw as an opportunity. The only other 1600 that this horse had run was its Genesis. So I saw that. I took advantage of that. 7, 8, 9 odds. That's kind of fun to say. And then continue to race it down these lower entry fees. And yes, it could be totally luck, but I think that really factors into performance of races just as an overarching strategy. And again, kind of tying into things that I've talked about before on here, finding a preferred distance. To me, racing strategy comes down to finding a preferred distance for your horse. And just a very kind of quick overarching ways. Looking at this, I see 1600, even though there is a free. I see 1400, 1000. Some decent-ish odds. So distance and then class. So is your horse on the verge of a class? Now I'm in class 4, was in class 5. A handful of these races are class 4, all of them except for 2. So it's actually moved up in class. So where's your horse sit in class? Did it recently class up? If you're going to buy it, race it. Did it recently class down? Obviously, the cost and the entry fee, I think, is a way that you can kind of give yourself a little bit of an edge. But then I saw something new this morning. So last night on Inside Zed, we had on a guy named Centribus Stables. He has a YouTube channel. Highly recommend checking it out. But he kind of took it to another level and really kind of emphasized looking at the quality of the competition. And I don't want to go too into it because I think you should all watch the video. I'm going to throw his channel in chat. He's a great guy, really, really smart. He has some real world racing kind of knowledge and background. But he just kind of released a video about kind of like how to pick a race and really talked about not only distance being important, but the quality of the competition and how you would evaluate that. And again, I don't want to go too deep into it here, but basically just when I talk about race selection, kind of after these factors, especially with a newer horse, I talk about going wide and then going deep. So go across all of your distances. We have the case of the Pickle Ricks where you got 45 odds in one race and then you've got 12 in the other. The majority of horses, though, I feel like are still somewhat consistent-ish within maybe 5 to 7 across the board. But you never know. So I like to race across and then try and find a distance and then start playing that distance out. Going deeper on that distance. Is this really preferred? Was it really just a easy competition race? He also mentioned kind of taking that to another level, almost starting with a few free races in there just to see how that performs. That way you aren't necessarily negatively affecting ROI. not necessarily pumping it full of free races, um, but also just a kind of a safer, from an investment standpoint, way of evaluating your horse and trying to get the most out of it. And then kind of a big concept that he went into that I really liked is after a race, going into, I just picked a random one here. Um, this one isn't maybe a perfect example, but is there a horse with like the lowest odds that maybe has like a 4 or 5 odds that really kind of pushes um, all the other horses out? And so, for example, in here it would be Dance Floor Filly got a 7.67, being the lowest odds. So then I would look into Dance Floor Filly. I would look at that distance of 1,600, I believe, 2,000. And I would see how it performs, especially at paid, across 2,000, and see it gets 9-11 odds. So it did a little better than it typically does, and we've got it right here, 767. That to me could be an indicator of maybe the competition in that race wasn't as great. So maybe my horse isn't as special as I think it is. So again, so it's, yeah, there's a 6 here. It's a little more in the middle. And kind of, where does that horse class? Does it class up? Does it class down? I'm scratching the surface of what Sintrop said. I'm going super high level, just very, very summarizing it. Check out his channel. Check out his video. He goes in depth, and again, I think it's a great way to take race selection to another level. So just kind of to recap, finding your horse, looking at distance, class, cost of entry. Is there opportunity there? And then finally looking at competition. So how does your horse stack up to the competition? Is there a horse that's blowing it out of the water that consistently blows everyone out of the water? Or does it blow your horse out of the water and then does kind of afterwards, signifying a weaker field in that race that you were in? Check out his video. He's a great guy. Like Sign Media just said, Sintrop is so knowledgeable, real world racing info. Absolutely fantastic. Just can't say enough nice things about him. So please give him a subscribe on YouTube. I think that would be awesome. Check out his videos. Really, really great content. Any questions on that? Yeah, for those of you that are new, feel free to ask any questions at any time, any clarifications. Otherwise, we will kind of switch gears over to breeding. And earlier today, I tweeted out my breeding strategy. It was kind of serious. It was kind of a joke. But basically, it was set a budget, which I think is wildly important, especially if you decide to go outside of your stable. Balance between in-stable and quality racers within a budget. Say a few nice things about Chris and Jay. And then realize it's okay that the foal isn't a good racer, and hold on for dear life because no one knows what they're doing. So I believe it was Carter who said that racing's 98% random. If we go to my most recent horse that I bred, I think I have her up right here. Yeah, Pam Halpert. So I got a rare coat out of it, so I'm pretty happy about that. I decided to go out of stable for this because I saw an opportunity. Thank you, Wappy. Thank you. Pam Beasley was already taken, so I figured I'd go for the next best version. Super Chic being my filly. But I saw Hollywood Hero was available in stud. Zoomies rated it like something like 298. I thought it was a really good value. Shout out to Remy and Zed Nucleus. On the bottom of Zed Nucleus, there's a stud finding tool. I'll throw that in chat as well. It's a great resource. But on the bottom here, when it loads, you can kind of filter out the active studs. So if you want to look for like super coats, win percentages, genotypes, breed types, you can kind of filter all of that out super easy. So like I wanted to look for a Genesis um, with a high win percent and found it's very easy to kind of compare valuations. Fantastic tool. Highly recommend you check it out. Could save you a decent amount of money depending on your breeding strategy. But basically, I saw an opportunity to get what I thought would be a good racer into my stable through here. And had Pam Halpert, so Hollywood Hero and Super Chic, made Pam Halpert. And uh, Pam has a few races, but as you can see, there isn't anything really too exciting here. We've got 27 odds, 28 odds, and 23 odds. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm not expecting anything to change, but I'm just going to quadruple check. I'm going to race Pam out wide. And then probably just retire her at that point and save her for breeding to try and keep that blood in my stable. Because for me, again, like I said in my tweet, my strategy, I set a budget, and I'm trying to balance between trying to get some quality into my stable to try and improve it because I don't have a huge budget to buy really big horses. So I view breeding as my opportunity to try and get something in, and then also trying to keep it in stable. Now, that being said, big asterisk to all of this. Nothing is really proven when it comes to breeding, and nothing is really like totally known. So like my strategy could be totally off and totally wrong, and I fully admit and acknowledge that. But this is just what I'm trying right now for me. For me, from both a financial and accessibility standpoint, it makes the most sense. Wappy says, think you need to give the horses 10 to 20 races before you can retire it with the way the game is right now. I don't disagree with that. In the way that kind of the depth of it across, I believe, the 9 distances works out, you'd be right around or within that range, especially if you got something that kind of interests you. So Wappy, I wouldn't disagree with you. I think that's a pretty spot on position. Clispin bought a Z5 Genesis that I've been sitting on, trying to decide if I want to breed or race it. Up until this point, I've been thinking about holding it for an unbred, unraced horse in the future. Any thoughts on this strategy? If I were to come into that situation, Clispin, I would. Is it a male or female? As we talked about racing strategy from Zed Gazette, also another great resource, another great guy. He was on Inside Zed last night. I'll be tweeting out links to those shows soon once they're up. If I were in your position and I had a female, I would try and find an ideal male and kind of overlap my breeding dates with that so I could hit get 2 offspring within the stud time that male is in. I think there's something to it. I think it's a kind of a way to double down. The reason why I say that, and it's very anecdotal, is that Super Chic and Wins by the Moment had the Red Dragon and we'll pull it up over here. The Red Dragon and the Golden Rule. The Red Dragon is 29 races, 6.9 win rate, 10 and 24. So like not bad, especially given kind of like who the parents were. And it's got some like odds, but also like 1600. It's got 10, 2000, sub 10, 24, sub 10. It's a little higher when you switch to paid. So like that horse is like fun. Like I can have fun with that horse. I can try and learn some things. I want to race it out a little more. And then it also had the Golden Rule, which has a rare coat, which is nice. But that horse is getting 20, 23, 28, 1800. This was a free, I believe, or maybe even the Griffey. So I want to kind of explore that a little more. But then 2000, 22, and 24 is getting 25, 23 to 27 odds. So like it is. That's kind of why it's a bit that Zed Gazette put out. I'm intrigued by the double up because I feel like in the back of my head I just have this fear, whether it's rational or real or not, that if I don't, I'll end up with the Golden Rule instead of with the Golden Rule and the Red Dragon. So that's kind of what I'm going to do going forward. So if I had that, I would hold off, try and get 2 foals out of it if it's a female. And then after that, kind of while it's still unraced, then maybe consider racing it. You never know what you have. Not financial advice, but that's just my opinion, kind of my take. Blockchain says we're so close to being able to sort by coat type on nucleus. Can't wait till they add that feature. Trying to get more chartreuse. That'll be awesome. Yeah, the coats are kind of fun. I really don't think there's any performance benefit. I need to dive a little deeper into that, and that'll be on a later stream, especially with this much larger data set that I have. But definitely something I'm interested. Golden Glow says in most cases you actually need 50 races to determine how well the horse is. I don't disagree with that. I think there's something to be said about odds and speed at this point. But yeah, I guess I don't disagree. It could be less. Could be less. Lisbon says female, awesome, wappy. The hard part is if your horse is consistently jumping between classes. Only goes up and isn't winning, I think is a good case for retire. But if you can pull like under 15 odds, keeping 9 to 12, I think there's something there. It just hasn't had its chance yet. Yeah, I agree. And maybe this, to kind of Golden Glow's point, 50, I feel horses kind of can get streaky. And you kind of got to like take that into account. So I would agree with that. I kind of take a little step back from my previous stance. And that you're always not going to get, like, if you have sub 10 odds, you're not always going to perform at a great level necessarily. Gulf Coast says Nucleus has sort by coat. And also, like, Wappy, that's kind of the benefit of having data and, like, having my dashboard or something like my dashboard is that you can see and kind of identify potential races. I'll throw it in here. Where you would have a better chance, I'll throw wins up here just because there's more, of finishing 9 through 12. And so like I see here at 2200, there's a 69% of the time I finish 9 through 12, 25% of the time I'm in first through third, 6% of the time I'm 4 through 8. If I like need to downclass, that could be a distance for me to kind of look at, and that's across 16 races, so that's small but not horrible. So that's where I think like data can be like really, and I'll zoom in even more so you can see that, can be really helpful. Again, like looking at this is like, hey, if I'm just classing up all the time, here's something where I have a chance to do well, but also a chance to go in 9 through 12. Yeah, I think the U-shape holds a lot of value before they readjust classing. I have a horse that consistently jumps between 4-3, rocks at 3, then immediately classes up to 4. Sign says, keep racing, she may be Wong, or hold off for breeding. Let's take a look at that quick. You're welcome, Crispin. The idea is that it's you're getting. I'll admit I don't fully understand it. While we look up She May Be Wong, I don't fully understand it. But it's basically you're kind of swapping ones and zeros, and you're in a single breeding cycle for the male, and you're able to get 2 offspring. Chance of like increasing the probability of getting something better. I'm grossly oversimplifying it. Check out Zed Gazette. Reach out to him. All right, so we've got She May Be Wong, 25 cross Zabo, 13. Nice. This is pretty solid. Decent ROI. Odds not bad. Not financial advice. In my opinion, I would race it out a little more. See what other distances, especially in paid, that you can where the horse is going to perform there. But you're doing pretty well with it. I would mix in new distances with distances that you're performing well in, just so you don't completely like tank or ruin like ROI. It'd give you a chance at least at better ROI in theory. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Yeah, Wappy, I think there's definitely more to speed, and I think speed's going to be much more valuable. don't worry about it, Gabgons. It can still be useful for breeding, in my opinion. Yeah, you never know, Lucky. You never know. Don't necessarily give up on a horse. Keep racing and track the data. Blockchain, who are you disagreeing with me on? What horse? Just out of curiosity. Totally okay to disagree with me. Berkey says we got the big dip in 5. All right, hit me up with the link. 2000s it crushes. Yeah, prototype, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. The stallion in your stable. I hope the stallion I'm bred with will be available next cycle. Okay. Depends on what you want. Unbred, unraced, C5 will be collectible one day. Good and bad. Yeah, and kind of to Wappy's point, talking about like value will approach there one day. I think this is all going to kind of like trickle down and like trickle through. So, you know, like Genesis, oh my gosh, I need Genesis. Well, then it's going to come down to Legendary, and it's going to, like, as breeding continues to evolve and develop, and as the platform matures, I see as the Z number goes down, I see the value of these things that are maybe what are considered to be more of like middle tier or not as many horses potentially going up. Yeah, losing streaks definitely happen, Pack Sandman. Losing streaks definitely happen. I love the name. Oh, okay. Blockchain says keep it going. Enter 0.1 offer, 0.01 offer on OpenSea blockchain. Right? Lucky, me too. Like, I think that'll be like a really cool day. The day when you can like breed a Z268. It's like, man, I made it through the line. Made it through the line. Wow, nice U. 12, 11, 12, 1, 12, 12, 5, 12, 12. Oh my gosh, 5, 7, 12, 12, 11. Woo! That's a little painful. That's a little painful. I'm sorry, rush of adrenaline. Great granddaughter of Breathless Edge. That's exciting. There's a little fun fact for the night. Super cool. And let's see. Looks like a great racer, honestly. Sign me to my yeah, like super fun horse. We got some nice horses popping up in chat. Nice job, guys and girls and everyone. So yeah, we talked about racing. So distance, class, cost, competition. DCCC. And check out Centribus. Great content. Check out Zed Gazette. I think he has some awesome breeding content. Yeah, and just kind of wrapping up my breeding strategy. So I want to stay, I don't have a huge stable. I don't necessarily have a great stable. So I'm going to set a budget for myself. Breeding to me is a cheaper alternative than buying to get some quality racers and some quality blood into my stable. Kind of pray to the Zed gods, if you will. Step 3. Realize it's okay if your horse isn't a good racer. That doesn't mean that they are going to be a bad breeder. And which goes right into 5. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to come of it, and kind of where things are going to go. Yeah, that 12 streak hurts. But you know what? I think it's going to bounce back. I'm hoping it bounces back for you. All right, let's Bergie, do we miss that race? Can you oh shoot, you sent it in Discord. My bad. I got to pop Discord up. We'll see if we can still get it. 1 minute. Oh yes, we'll get it in. We'll get to see a race tonight. Get to see a race if Discord will open. Cheers on that. 25 seconds. All right, who we got in this race, Bergie? First race of the night, Midnight Snack. Oh, it's Snack. It's totally Snack. Ivy Gate, Going Parabolic. That's a fun name. Buy the Jet. Just buy it. Righteous Ruler, Cosmo Kramer, The Jockey. Burnt Umber. Pretty sure that's the color. Fire in the Mountain. Tracking Tarantulas, Jeff Bagwell. And I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to pronounce that because I will just butcher it horribly. And I have a track record of saying things incorrectly. All right, let's go. Snack. We got Snack in gate 1, holding its own the first half of the race. Talked about last night on Inside Zed. The first half of the race, just kind of like it's the same. Everyone just kind of hangs out. So watch for some things to happen around the 1100 meter mark. Can I get some cheers for Midnight Snack in chat, please? Can I get some hype? Can I get some boorts in chat? Let's boort them up in chat. You know what? Prototype? We're not gonna go there. It was completely random tonight, I swear. Wappy Bergie, let's go. UFO, thank you. Let's get some horns. Let's get some hype. Let's go. Horns and hype. Scott with the board. Let's board him up. Let's go. Come on, Snack. Let's go, Snack. All right, so now look for it to break a little more. We're still kind of tight, a little separation, but right around 1100. And look at this fire on the mountain. Starting to come out. Still pretty tight, actually. Oh, there we go. Okay. Righteous Ruler. Come on, Snack. Let's go, Snack. Prototype boarding him up. Let's go. Come on, Snack. 800. Plenty of race left. We got Fire in the Mountain. The name I can't pronounce. Righteous Ruler. Going Parabolic and Midnight Snack. Let's go, Snack. Snack's starting to creep, I think. Snack's coming up. 600. Come on, Snack. Let's go. Snack's making a move. On the outside. Let's go, Snack. Farrat. Coming in. Well done, Farrat. Thank you. Come on, Snack. We're in third. Let's go, Snack. Keep pushing. 300 meters left. Snack in third. Can Snack get second? Beat the name that I can't pronounce. Come on, Snack. Let's go. Final 100. So close. Oh, wow. What a finish. Third and fourth. Snack getting third. Snack in the money. Let's go, Snack. Well done. Congrats, Bergie. Going Parabolic just went off. Then the name I can't pronounce. And Midnight Snack. Look at Burnt Umber trying to sneak it from you. Very, very, very close between third and fourth. Congrats, Bergie. Nice job on the third. Well done. I watched this my own race cheering for Snack. I love that. We need more of that. These aren't just one person's horses. These are all of our horses. Zed Run family sticks together. I feel like that's something out of like Fast and Furious 32, where he just talks about family, but it's really about Zed Run instead of cars now. Sorry about that, Prototype. Racing down according to Discord. That breaks my heart. Absolutely breaks my heart. All right. So, Clispin Solar, what's up? Clispin, appreciate the cars. Winks, so random. Oh gosh, Winks is here. All right, catching up on chat. Gas prices went up with the cars. We race with horses. Gas prices went up with the cars. We race with horses and family. Yes, Prototype. Yes. Yeah. If people got races, definitely, please, shoot them in Discord. Hey, Select Shadow, how you doing? Welcome. Throw them in Discord. Throw them in chat. The Zed Run URL should be whitelisted. If not, I need to get that updated. All right, so kind of the last kind of big part of the night. Oh, Wappy, thank you. Okay. I will pull that up. Just pulling up another race here, I believe. Select Shadow, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. All right, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Cool. We will throw that one up at the end. Awesome. And who do you have in here, Wappy? Some fun names in here. The Nuts. Purple Champagne. Blue One. That's a clever name. Satoshi Saddle. Nice, I like it. Thank you, Select. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Where's Satoshi Saddle? All right. Skybridge. I like it. I like it. Ooh, ooh. Racing up. Racing up. Watch out, Satoshi Saddle. I like it. I like it. All right. So, I wonder what that tastes like. I don't know. That sounds fun. At least it's not that other M word champagne. It's a little present for you, Prototype and Winks. You'll never walk alone. Frat, that is not allowed here. You'll never run alone. Already in this one. Nice. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you all about was data. So when we first talked about data, we looked at like 10,000 races. Then we looked at like 16,000 races, and now we're going to look at 140,000 races. I think this is almost everything. And a few kind of asterisks on this is that before we get started, data is constantly evolving, constantly changing. The vast majority of data that we have is focused around butyrins. So keep that in mind too, and keep in mind too, like weighting. So if you see, like, oh my gosh, pacers are just absolutely horrible. Well, there might not be many pacers, and it's a smaller data set. So just things to keep in mind. Certain things aren't necessarily set in stone, so keep an open mind. But nevertheless, I think it's still going to be pretty interesting. Show you some things that might be a little overwhelming to look at. Don't worry about looking at everything at once. We're going to break it down. We're going to go piece by piece, just for the sake of not having a billion tabs open. I just tried to consolidate everything into a single tab. Oh, Wappy's getting excited. Wappy's getting excited. All right, so we will go ahead and dive in. So the first thing I wanted to look at, and did kind of a slight different visual on it. Again, this is about 147,000 races, was the breakdown, excuse me, of races by country. And I thought this was kind of fun to look at, fun little circles. And we'll scroll down so we can see it all. But basically, the size of the circle, colors just doesn't mean anything. It's just a different color for every country. But the size of the circle signifies how many races are in that country. Ocean, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. How's your night going? I don't know if country will be a thing of like importance or value in the future. I feel like it could be at some level. Yeah, we will do a numbers breakdown. I think I have that. If not, I will soon. The largest one, I could probably pull it up on the side at the very least. Yeah, I think it could. Oh, Centribus, I am so sorry. Oh, Centribus, I am so sorry. I'll keep that in mind for the future. I appreciate that, and I'm apologizing ahead of time for some of the other things we're going to look at tonight. Yeah, I think I could see country coming into play in the future. You never really know. I just thought it'd be something that would be kind of cool to look at. So let me see if I can get actual numbers in there for you. That's a really good point. Uh-oh. Don't crash, computer. Don't crash, computer. If it crashes, I'll be right back. I think it's going to crash. Woo! We are here. We are still here. All right, I will add number later. My computer is like freaking out right now, and I'd hate to get kicked off. Because it's going crazy. But I will add numbers. You can cat the name and number next to each other. Yes, absolutely. Horse made it. Lucky says, know your Horses. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's take a minute to pause before we continue talking about country. Lucky Charms. My horse made it on Know Your Horse's Twitter post for the fastest times yesterday. He was the fastest exclusive at 2400. Real proud of him. Can we get some support in the chat? Can we get some hype? Can we get some emojis? Can we get some boarding it up in the chat? That's incredible. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'll readjust this. I'll throw numbers in. I just thought it was kind of interesting, kind of fun to look at. UK and US repping 1 and 2. Where's Australia in here? Right down in here. Blockchain, appreciate the support. Wappy, appreciate the horns. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this next part is going to be a little overwhelming. We're just going to go one step at a time. So up top, we've got the number of races analyzed, 147,733. Here's a breakdown right below here of the horses. So we've got Nakamoto, Zabo, Finney, Buterin. UFO Nut says my donkeys will be great on Mount Everest in Tibet on a rainy day in Gate 13. Great line, great line. And then we're going across, so Genesis Legendary Exclusive, Elite, Cross, Pacer, and you can kind of see the totals going across as well as going down. So obviously a lot of Genesis, Legendary, Exclusive, kind of almost halves-ish going down until you get to Pacer. And then obviously Buterin just destroys, then Finney, then Nakamoto. So there's a breakdown of races and kind of bloodline and breed. Here's a gender breakdown, and I think it's important to include when possible, like the numbers, kind of like we said with the country. So colt, filly, mare, and stallion. So 38% colt, it's about 1,800. 29% filly. So it's not like totally even breakdown, but again, you get the 49,272 horses. And then I've heard some people talk about does one type of horse race better than the other? And keep in mind, this is on average. So there are going to be outliers. There are going to be horses that race super, super fast and do amazing, and there are going to be horses that don't race as well. So maybe it'd be good to, for a future stream, look at like those outliers, and maybe one has more outliers than another. But it's pretty close, right? Kind of 6'4", 6'5", low 6'6". I don't really see anything, at least from an average standpoint, of male versus female, one being better than the other. And I don't think that necessarily makes sense. I've also heard rumors of people talking about supercoats, and oh my gosh, is there a benefit to having a supercoat? And if you look at just the average position, 6.49 if you don't have a supercoat, and 6.74 if you do, you would think like, oh, supercoats perform worse, but there are only 582 supercoats in this list. So not necessarily. I don't think there's any performance better or worse looking at supercoats. Absolutely prototype. Absolutely. 100%. And then looking at, and we'll definitely go to kind of like those extremes and those winners at later streams for sure. Races by distance, again, kind of the theory of 2,600 and 1,000. There were significantly less of those. 2,600, there are 1,600 races. 24, that jumps up to 13. Then 20,000. Then 21,000. Then 15. 24, 1,800. That's an interesting kind of drop off. 21, 17, and then 12,500 at 1,000 meters. Nope, it's not super complicated. Not super complicated. Definitely something I could do a video on. There's official documentation on it. Definitely, yeah, I'm open to that. Sharing the knowledge for sure. And then if we look at, again, we're looking at averages, but position by bloodline and breed. So Nakamoto to Buterin, Genesis to Legendary. So if we look at Genesis from Nakamoto to Buterin, it's almost like a full position difference. And you can see that this average of 631 is heavily weighted by Buterin, which has just a lot more, as we can see from up here, they're just a lot more Buterin horses. It's a little tighter, Legendary, and exclusive. It gets kind of like tighter almost-ish as you go down. It's like 0.4, 0.5 versus almost like a whole place difference. Between Nakamoto and Buterin as a whole, it's about 0.4 difference. It's not the end of the world. It's not super big, but again, we're looking at averages here, just averages. And then kind of scrolling down, looking at average odds by breed and blood. So if you notice, again, we got a heavy Buterin skew, 14-18, really Nakamoto Genesis, we're getting the average odds of 12.22. And we know like right around 9-ish, 10-ish is a good spot for like first place. So much higher chance there. Pacer numbers just shoot up tremendously. There aren't a lot of pacers to balance that out. We still also don't really know what we're doing for breeding, so like I don't put too much stock into this back here. But yeah, if you just look at these numbers and how they go up overall, the grand total like average odds as you go down. So maybe from a breeding standpoint, there's something to be said to try and keep this up as high as possible. Like, yeah, that's common sense, but now we can actually see maybe on average, given the current data set, there could be a benefit to it. Again, there are outliers. Another thing that's kind of interesting is that when you get here, we're going from like 14 to 16, like it's almost a 2 odds difference through elite, and then cross and pacer just kind of like fall off. But I feel like that's fairly significant between Nakamoto and Buterin. Hey, J-Man, how you doing tonight? And then here, kind of looking at like the races themselves, the races and the classes. What was the average odds of coming in first place given a class and a distance? So I thought this was super interesting. Year 0, your Griffies are kind of like all over the board and significantly lower, which I thought was kind of interesting. Just kind of take a minute to take this in because this is a lot. But you have everything from 2400 9.2 average to like a height of 1800 and 9.855 in class 5. Class 1, you need a 9.61. So the difference between class 5 and class 1 at 1,000 meters is 0.15-ish, 145-ish from an odd standpoint. But if you think about how much harder it is to get those odds in class 1 versus class 5, that is significant. So something to kind of keep in mind. Class 3 seems really weird to me. And I would want to see kind of the numbers as far as like how many races have been at each class. Again, just kind of looking at that distribution. And for whatever reason, we didn't get anything in class 4 2600. I think that's just a result of the data set. But I thought this was super, super interesting. So if we look at kind of the overall across the board, across all classes, 1,000 meters, 9.68. Call it 9.69, 9.879, then 10. Something about 1,400 just seems interesting. Then it drops down to 9s. Really, really interesting about 1,400. And again, these aren't too terribly far off, but the difficulty increases tremendously. So again, you're kind of targeting ideally 9 odds-ish, 9 to 10 odds, gives you a better chance of finishing in first. So then I kind of took that a step further and said, let's look not only at first, but let's look at third as well. So basically just being in the money. What does that range look like? That bumps up to like 13.5. Again, the Griffies are all just kind of weird. Class 1 actually gets more difficult, dropping down into the 12s compared to like the 13s. So if I'm looking to like evaluate or to buy a horse, I'm thinking, hey, I'm looking at my average odds. If it's getting between, and I don't have a huge budget, and I'm a newer, stable, want to try and get in, I'm going to try and focus on, like 9, obviously lower. Doesn't hurt to go lower. But like 9 to 13 odds, I feel like could be something that I could have fun with. It's not a guarantee of money. It's not a guarantee of ROI in any capacity. It could be something that could be fun to race with. And that's, for me, that's something like I look for a lot. It's something that I saw in Wings, Blue Wings, that we talked about earlier in the night. So I think that could be really beneficial for those of you that are looking to get a horse and to see how well your horse could perform if it were to try and class up, or if you're looking to buy. The second kind of half of this conversation was looking at, and Centribus, if you're still here, I am so sorry, because more colors are coming. I feel like I owe it to the Australian contingent to say the M word, that color, just to make up for it. But, and the dots will get better, I promise. I realize this is very difficult to see. Yeah, thanks, UFO. Yeah, right. So what we're looking here is a position by Z number and bloodline, and I'll get more focused in a minute. But each color, so like this top line here is a bloodline, then there's kind of a teal, another bloodline, yellow, another bloodline, and then blue, another bloodline. And on the bottom here, incredibly hard to see, but you've got your genotype. So Z1 all the way we go to Z104 in here. I'll see if I can even get in a little. Yeah, I think this is better, much better. So again, position by Z and bloodline, in these different colors. Sorry, Centribus, are the different bloodlines. Excuse me, and then at the bottom here, the Z numbers. And we'll look at a breakdown of kind of the different bloodlines themselves. But as you can see that once you get to about kind of like here, 17, and then here, 20, 21. 21 keeps coming up. I don't know what it is, but like I feel like every time we've done an analysis, once you hit Z21, things start to get wild. I'm sure it'll be something that evens out over time, but look at how tight the grouping is, and then it just starts going absolutely crazy. And maybe it's because it's such a small data set, there aren't many horses in there. There are a million reasons why this could be. I think it, asks a lot of further questions. Tonight's meant to be just kind of like a high-level overview. But I thought it was very interesting. 21, like what's going on with 21? What is happening at Z21? That things just start to really kind of blow up, and that's again like right about here, 21 and beyond. So for those of you that may be colorblind, I apologize. I'll take this in consideration in the future. Is 21 the first time guaranteed not to Genesis breeding? Maybe? Yeah, like that is, to Wappy's point, like Z20 is 2 Genesis, but like you could have you could technically just continue to stack Genesis in, so if 2 Z10 Buterins go into make a little baby horsey, and then you've got another Z10 uterine that mates with that baby horsey. So then you'd have a Z30, which would still just be Genesis blood. Like I feel like you could set it up to just like continuously be Genesis. Um, but maybe people can't do that now, just the way their stables are set up. Like there's so many factors that go into this, and we are still so early on, and I really want to like reinforce that. This is interesting. It's fun to look at, start to make some conclusions, some theories, but we are a long ways from like really solidly knowing what's going on here. Z21 is the first exclusive breeding that has to happen for Buterin. Um, oh yeah, that's true. That's true, local boy. That's legendary and Genesis. Hello. Like, duh. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Thank you for clarifying that. Um, so first we're gonna kind of break down. We're gonna look at is Nakamoto. And if we look at the overview, average odds by breed and blood. So Nakamoto is like 1443. Oh, sorry, place. We want to look at place, not odds. Um, Here we go. Nakamoto is 6252. So now this is just looking at Nakamoto's. Um, so if we notice here that Z1 and Z2 Nakamoto's, their average place is below that 6252. So again, from a potential like value standpoint, if you can afford it, theoretically, possibly, there's a higher chance of Z1 and Z2s performing better than the average. Weppy, I'm glad you think it's interesting. That makes me really happy. That's all I want. I want to spark curiosity and questions and interest. I want you to look into your own data. I want to show you, try and deliver answers for you later on through continuous newer streams. I'm crushing this Gatorade tonight. So it's like, hey, going to Nakamoto example again, like 625 is about here, and I see that Z1 and Z2s on average perform better than that. So in theory, possibly, they could be better than average horses. Z3, we probably get right around the average, and then it gets a little higher. But notice that it's like a very pretty tight line. We've got a little jump here, and then it's pretty consistent. And then things start to get a little wonky. And I think that's maybe when you start getting other things involved. I think that's a question that maybe deserves to be looked at or addressed. And that's about the Z14 mark, Z14, Z15. Check out Ethel. Shredder will definitely check out Ethel. Yeah, maybe I'll do like a data studio overview one day. Flattens out there too before Z14. Right, exactly. So like goes up, kind of flattens out, and then like gets wild. And as we go like down, like significant, the sample size drops off tremendously here. Like I feel like it has to. Um, someone has a Z. Here's the Z268 Nakamoto right here. By the way, absolute legend. This little guy right here in the end, absolute legend. Whoever did that, like, it would be an honor to meet you one day. Average position of 10. Epi loves that horse. We need to make that horse just like a legend. We need to like make a shrine for that horse. Maybe do something in Sandbox for that horse. I don't know. Um, so yeah, so pretty interesting with the Nakamotos. Then we'll check out Zabos. Um, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. And so if we go back to the chart, okay, so Zabo, again, like a 626, very close. Very close. And we'd see that a Z3 Zabo, lower than that. Z4 Zabo is probably right around there. But again, like the Nakamoto, kind of goes up. It's not as steep of a curve up, but fairly flat. And then we start getting into crazy land again at Z21. maybe it's just the sample size drops off. Maybe that's all we're dealing with right now, and that as we get more horses, these numbers as we go to the end will tighten up. Um, but yeah, all the way up to 268 right here. But I found that very, very interesting. Um, Wappy, I completely agree. Okay, so shout out. This deserves a shout out here. Select Shadow. I would suggest checking out Zed Gazette Basic Breeding Guide and looking at the 4-horse plan. I work with genetics and it's something worth learning. Yeah, I did a stream with Zed Gazette last night. We talked a little bit about that. I think it's absolutely fascinating. I think has one of the best breeding minds on the platform, at least that I'm aware of right now. Super great guy. Definitely check him out. zedgazette.com. I'll throw it in chat. Um, Fantastic breeding info. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, kind of interesting trend again with Zabo. If you look at Finney, 634. Um, and again, we'd have probably about two, the Z5 and the Z6, above average. But we've got kind of a little up, a little down, still pretty tight with the Finney. And then we start getting wonky right about Z19, Z20. Oh no, is that Z21? Z20. Um, Again, starts to go wonky, and I'm theorizing um, that it's just like a sample size thing. But you can kind of see like the trend of where this is headed and going. I'd imagine it would continue to level off over time. But again, you got like one or two, the lowest two Z numbers that are possible seem to be performing better on average. There are outliers um, than the rest. So use regression, the curve will. Yes, I would agree, Wappy. I would agree. And as we get more data, like this will, I think, flatten out more. But I think it's a good way of just saying here's like the state of where the ecosystem of horses currently is. That makes sense. Buterin, I believe, was at like a 6.6. Um, and this is much bigger. Um, Interesting that you see 8 is probably right about there. Then it goes up a little bit, but then comes down. And again, could be sample size, but like right around 11 or 12. So if we think about that, that could be, we would start with a base of Z8 to get to 12. You need what, a 4? Um, so yeah, just a straight up 4, 2, 2. And if we go to the 4s, would perform better. So you would think that would kind of bring it down. Maybe it's a sign of some breeding. I don't know. Need to breed with exactly. Which, in theory, because those other ones are just better than the buterins are, that maybe, and this is probably gross oversimplification, but maybe bringing it down. And then right around Z29, 28, 29, so a little further for the buterins. And again, I think this maybe further strengthens my sample size theory that there are so many more buterins, so this line goes out farther. But again, you kind of get an idea of where it's potentially going. So yeah, that kind of just wraps up the data overview for tonight. 147,000 races. Um, I don't think there's anything that says, oh my gosh, you have to do this and this is going to give you the best value and you're going to win all the time. No, I think it's interesting. Sorry about that. I think it's interesting. I think it's something to keep in the back of your mind. as we continue to go through Zed, and as again the ecosystem of the horses continues to evolve. Um, yeah, feel free to take screenshots if you think it would be beneficial. But I just thought it'd be something useful to keep in mind. And again, here's all four of them layered together. So any questions, comments, thoughts between our kind of three main topics of the night of distance, or sorry, racing, breeding, and stats? I think it's interesting. I think we need more data. I think we're still in our infancy, but I think it's a good start. Thank you, Aquila. Have a good night. Appreciate it. I agree. Yeah, I think path is a good word, Wappy. Path is a good word. Prototype. Yeah, I should be able to do that. That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I'll throw them in my Discord. I'll throw them in Eric's Discord as well. There was a horse that we wanted to look at. Um, Local boy, I completely agree. Completely agree. I think right now, um, that my um, I think the strongest use of data right now is at individual horse races and trying to find distance and performance for your own individual horses. That's where I think the biggest value and use of data is. I'd say the most of all the different ways of looking at it, the most concrete. Um, that's just kind of my take, my opinion. We've got 2 minutes on this. What was the name of that horse that someone threw in earlier? Was it like Ethel? Um, Weppy asked about my prediction on breeding theory. So I ran that. I was able to predict the performance of Dank within 1.11%, its show percent within 1.11%. Then I just got another random horse, I believe from Eric Wong, and I was about 1.4% off from that in predicting its show rate. I tried to expand the sample size out and very quickly was able to prove myself wrong. So I will not be going further with that at this time. Um, but yeah, I was wrong. Thought I was onto something, was not. So it's back to the drawing board. I was very, very clearly and easily able to prove myself wrong. Yep, too bad, but that's okay. That's part of the fun. Trying to figure things out, trying to solve the puzzle, trying to help make this game acceptable. So considering a Midwest IRL Zed meetup, absolutely Galaxy. I would absolutely love to do that. I've thought about it almost daily. Um, if you use Zed tools, would be interested in looking at my horse. Yeah, I'd definitely like to look at horses. I just want to make sure we get this race in. Here we go. Exactly. You know a one is coming. You know a one is coming. Uh, oh, is no down again. Got it. As a okay, thank you. All right, so we've got Satoshi Saddle, Ethel, and then Rusty Spoon. If I missed anyone's, I apologize. Please throw it back in chat. Where did Reba finish? Well, we'll see if it's Reba finished sixth. Um, see, I had two races, 6 hours and 2 hours. Yikes. All right, so Satoshi Saddle Z3 Legendary Knock. Nice, 28. That's a pay. 7, solid. ROI, fantastic. Whoa, like goes down, then it loves 10. Like a 1 to 10 U. Almost like an S. I can kind of see that. Like goes up, high, low, bump, little bump. I think you need more races. I think that'll start to level out. Um, but yeah, lots of. So we got that was a class 2. Uh, Class 3. Yeah, and you raced it up a class. Or was it already in class 2 to get to class? Where? No, well maybe this brought us back down. Um, But nice. I like it. I like it. Solid 9, 9, 12, 8. But I love it. I like the horse a lot. I like the horse a lot. 1,000. Very, very nice. Let's check out Ethel. I think it was, you wanted that on Zed Run tools. Whoa, crazy ROI. 15 races, 4 wins. 14 races, 4 wins and paid. Absolutely insane. Check the bloodline. Got a, wow, a Z19 computer in 42. Oh, that's placed 21% win rate. This looks Z1 knock, relatively unreal. Parents. Then we got another Z1 knock. Wow, so you've got a lot of like Z1 knock going this horse. A 18 exclusive. Z1 knock. Very interesting lineage. See if there's more Z1 knocks. So you've got Genesis Finney, Joseph Buterin. I say it both ways. C mine. So Buterin with a knock, Z1 knock to C sniper. That's a cool color. And then here's another Z1 that just great win rate of basically 13. Then you fed in another Z1 knock at 21. Then another Z1 knock at 33. That's kind of an interesting breeding strategy. Oh geez, Rosenberg got hit. It's a very interesting way to collect blood. So start with something you got it in a good spot. There's some theories and some people talk about how like kind of stopping at a good performance point is important. Feed in Z1 knock, feed in Z1 knock, feed in Z1 knock, all the way down to exclusive. That's like what? So you've been at exclusive now for. Oh, sorry, we didn't even go all the way up. And sorry for this. I don't know how to get off of it. Um, somehow selected, but you can't click off. Oh my gosh, this horse keeps going. Z1 knock, Z3 Zabo, legendary Zabo, Buterin, Buterin. So it's already exclusive here. And then just there's a Finney, Genesis, Genesis knock, Genesis knock. And so this horse has like a lot going into it. Yeah, look at this breeding pattern. Very, very interesting. I wonder if we could find some other horses with a similar uh, breeding pattern as this. I find this to be really fascinating. I wonder what Zed Gazette would say about it. Oh, and never mind, I take that back. He'd probably hate it because it has different bloodlines in it. Always Genesis Colts. Strutter says it's always Genesis Colts into bred mares. I did not notice that. Genesis. 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 Good observation, Shredder. Good observation. Genesis. 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 Yeah. Interesting. There's a lot of Z1s in there. Lucky says 3 Z1s. We've got 1, 2, 3. I think it's technically 4. Yeah, 4 Z1s in there. Just not as far back. Well, maybe you need to get a little further. Starting exclusive. If you want to hold the line, you need a Genesis. Yep. And I think for that reason, like exclusives are going to be like super, super powerful. You just keep feeding that into it. That makes sense. Right, then the next horse we want to check out is Rusty Spoon. That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Spoon, 18 races, 5. Wow. What's up with these horses? You guys got some monsters. Ocean went a little crazy with the exclusives this weekend. Um, love it, love it. Alright, so let's bloodline. At 27 win. Genesis and Genesis. Sorry, this is a legendary Z6 Genesis Finny, a 10 booter. It's like unraced. Looks like 8% over just. Yeah, this Rusty Spoon's a monster. Monster. Very, very nice horse. So 1816 with 4 went absolutely that unlimited production. Do it, Lucky. Do it. Not financial advice, but do it. Palpatine. If. Awesome horses. Yeah, so I think we'll kind of wrap things up there. Know Your Horses shows. Oh, let's check those. Let's check those. I guess we see them here. 10, 9, 3, 11, 12, 10, 9, 10, 6. Wow, 10, 8, 6, 9. Those. Wow. Absolutely. Very, very nice. And don't, I guess, kind of another kind of, don't get discouraged if you have a horse that doesn't have 9, 10 odds. It doesn't mean it can't finish first. It just means it may not as often. No need to get discouraged. You can still have a lot of fun with the platform. Of course, is interesting at that level. Still a lot of opportunity, and that opportunity is only going to grow as the platform develops and matures. Get in different factors like gait and weather and fatigue. All these tournaments that are coming in. I really think, yeah, new classes. Frosty makes a great point. There's going to be a lot of potential for out there. So with that, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Galaxy says, do I think the market's overvaluing mares right now? Anything you're looking to buy? I'm looking to kind of hold on for a little bit. My next kind of big play will just be breeding. If I see a super good deal, I might